is Madeline, and welcome to this Yin Yoga class for detoxification. So in this class, we'll be doing some twists that really helps detox the body, and we'll also be getting into some areas where the lymph is to really drain that lymph fluid and support your immune system. So let's get started with a little bit of breath. And you might also want to grab a couple blocks for this practice if you like using them, but not necessary for class today. So back to the breath, we'll just do 3 deep breaths just to ground into the space. You can exhale all the air out now. Take an inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. Inhaling through the nose, and then exhale out the mouth. One last inhale through the nose, and big sigh out the mouth. And we'll get into our first yin pose now, which is going to be a straddle on the wall. So if you have a wall space near you, definitely go for that. If you don't, then that's totally fine. You can just do a regular straddle on the ground. But if you have a wall, you can bring your mat to the wall. And I'm just going to turn around to face this way. And try to get your seat really up towards the wall, in line with it. I have a bit of an awkward wall space here. Hopefully you'll get the idea. So really try to come up as close to the wall as you can. And then spread those feet out wide into a straddle-like position. And again, if you don't have a wall, you can just do this how you normally would, sitting and then folding forward between those legs. So this is really good to kind of start draining that fluid, that lymphatic fluid. And just enjoy the pose here. And remember to breathe deeply. And let's take a couple more breaths here. Should feel good to release those legs if you're used to standing or walking a lot. And take one last deep breath. And slowly start to slide those feet down Hugging the knees into the chest. And you can rock a little side to side on your backs here. Pause back at center. And then you can just shift over to one side. Not a super graceful way to do this, but just coming back to sit on your mat. You can bring the mat away from the wall if you had it over there. And then we'll come into a tabletop position. So no rush getting here, but once you're here, you can start to make some cat-cows or take any kind of movement that feels good in the body. So maybe making some circles or rocking from side to side. And then whenever you're ready, returning to stillness in that neutral tabletop. And from here, we'll come down onto our bellies for a Sphinx pose. So coming down onto your bellies and then placing the forearms on the mat parallel with each other. And then looking slightly out in front of you. Option, if you have a block, to place the block underneath the forehead, if that feels better. And we'll stay here for a couple of minutes. And really try to imagine the breath moving up and down the spine. And take one last deep breath here. And slowly let it go, coming all the way down to the mat. Stack those hands on top of each other and use them as a pillow for your forehead. And you can wiggle the hips a little bit, shake them out from side to side. And then return to stillness whenever you're ready. And we'll pause here for a couple of moments. Take one last breath here. And then no rush at all. You can begin to slowly make your way up into that tabletop position. Feel free to take any movement here that feels good, just for a couple of breaths. Return back to that neutral tabletop. And from here, we're going to move into a shoelace pose. So you're going to take that right leg and then slide it in front of the left. So those right and left knees are kind of stacked together. And then draw the feet towards the outsides of the mat. And then you can come to draw back and sit in between both of those feet. If you have a block or a blanket, it'd be great to place it underneath the seat here to just bring the ground to you. And this can already be an intense pose, so if you just want to stay here, that's great. Also, option, if it feels better, you can straighten that left leg out underneath if it feels a bit less intense for the hips. So once you're here, you can stay like this, or if you want to get some more opening in the shoulders, do some more twisting, you can come to eagle arms. So begin to slide that right arm underneath the left, and then wrap them together for this eagle position. Another option too, you can always fold forward over those legs if that feels better for you. So lots of options here, just choosing what feels best in the body today. And remembering to breathe deeply. And take one more deep breath in the shoelace pose, whatever variation you're in. Have those arms wrapped. Begin to slowly let it go, opening up the chest. And we'll crawl forward, hands on the mat, and then you can just remove that right knee back out and into that tabletop position. Again, in tabletop, you can take a little bit of movement just for a couple breaths. And then we'll return back to center, and we'll do that on the other side. So this time, slide the left knee in front of the right so those two knees are in line. Spread the feet out wide on the mat. And then sink back in between both of those feet. Again, option to sit up on a block or a blanket, or reach that right foot or right leg out long instead. And each side can feel super different here. So if you want to stay upright like this, that's cool. If you want to go for some more twisting and some shoulder opening, you can come into those eagle arms on this side. So this time sliding the left arm over the right and then wrapping them together for that eagle position. Option to fold forward over those knees as well. And know that it can be different from what you did on the other side. Regardless of whatever variation you're in, remember that really deep breath can definitely be an intense pose. And take one last deep breath here. You had those arms in eagle position, slowly unwrapping them and opening that chest up. And then come forward back onto your hands, really gentle here. Just removing that left leg out to meet back with the right. And we're in our tabletop position again. And let's just take a brief child's pose here. So drawing the seat back towards the hips and letting the forehead rest on the ground. And notice the effects of these poses on the body. Take one more breath in child's pose. And slowly start to come back forward. And into that tabletop position. And from tabletop, we'll come into a dragon pose. So begin to step that right foot outside both of the hands, so both hands are on the inside of the right foot. If you have a blanket, you can pad that left knee if the knee is sensitive. And lots of options here. You can stay upright like this. You can come down onto your forearms. If you have blocks, you can put your hands on blocks or your forearms on blocks. Just whatever works best for you. And this is really great. You're really getting into that lymph node that's in the groin area. So this pose can tend to release a lot, especially emotionally as well. So just something to keep in mind and notice if any intense emotions are coming up. Breathing deeply. And if you'd like to go a little deeper for the last minute of the pose, you can come into a dragon twist. So place that right hand on the right thigh and twist over to the side, maybe looking over that right shoulder. No pressure to do this. You can stay in your regular dragon too if this just doesn't feel good. Just helping detox a little bit more with the addition of a twist. And if you're in that twist, returning the hand back to the ground or blocks. Take one last deep breath here. And start to slowly, really slowly shift those hips back. Be really gentle here. It can feel pretty sensitive. And we'll come into this runner's lunge. Maybe you want to move the leg a little bit, pulse. And pause in the hamstring stretch. Take one last breath here. And you can slide that right leg back to meet the left. And we're back in our tabletop position. So you know where we're going next. We're going to do that dragon pose on the other side. This time, step the left foot outside both of those hands. Again, you can have your many options, staying up on your hands like this, coming down to forearms, forearms on blocks, hands on blocks, whatever feels good. And know again that it's totally fine if it's a different variation than what you did on the other side. So pausing here, try to come into stillness and try to breathe really deeply. And if you'd like to go a little deeper for the last minute of this pose, you can come into that dragon twist by placing the left hand on the left thigh and twisting over, maybe looking over that left shoulder. No need to go for this. You can always stay in your regular dragon pose. Just listening to what the body needs. And if you're in that twist, try to breathe really deeply into the twist. The breath can definitely get stuck in twists sometimes. And if you're in the twist, coming back to your normal dragon pose, placing the left hand on the mat. Take one last breath here. And then slowly let it go. Really, really gentle here. Slide those hips back and into your runner's lunge. Giving the hamstring a nice stretch here, maybe pulsing it out a couple times, and then coming back to stillness. And then slowly from here, you can bring that left leg back to meet the right. Come over to one side on the mat. Reach the legs out long. And we'll come down onto our backs. And on your back, you might want to hug those knees into the chest. Rock a little bit side to side. Should feel really good on that lower back. And then pause back at center, and we're going to come into a couple of reclined twists. So keep that right knee hugged in, reach the left leg out long, and start to draw that right knee over the left leg, and reach the right arm into a T shape or cactus shape. Again, should feel really nice on the back. A nice detoxifying twist. Again, try to breathe up and down the spine. Take one last deep breath here. And slowly coming back to center. Hug both those knees into the chest. And then we'll stretch that right leg out long this time. And draw the left knee over that right leg. And reach that left arm out into a T shape or cactus. And try to see if you can get that left shoulder to remain pressing down on the mat. And breathe up and down the spine. Take one last inhale here. Big exhale. And then draw that knee back up and into center, letting the right knee join. And from here, you can take some circles with those knees one way and then the other. You can also take any final poses or movement your body is needing before we head into Shavasana, final resting pose. Happy baby could feel really nice here, or snail pose. And then whenever you're ready, no rush at all, and stretch those legs out long. Let the body sink into the mat, into the floor, and surrender in Shavasana, your final resting pose. And we'll close class in Shavasana. If you have the time, I encourage you to stay here as long as you like. If you have to go, we'll take one final breath here. Taking a big inhale through the nose and a big sigh out the mouth. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you're feeling more detoxified. If you hear your stomach making some noises, that's a good sign. And if you'd like to see more Yin Yoga classes like this, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again next time.